Do you remember earlier this year, let's focus that a bit. Remember earlier this year, I was at London 22 and I got excited about these little miniature stockbooks. They were like pocket-sized stockbooks at the Lighthouse booth. Well, anyway, when I was at Stampex again in October, I picked up 10 more of these little pocket-sized stockbooks, and I plan on doing a little giveaway to you, my viewers. But of course there's more, because I reached out through Twitter to the online philatelic community to see if any other dealers, collectors or societies wanted to contribute to this giveaway. And so I now have a few items that we can look through and add to this giveaway during this episode. But there's always a lot more that we can talk about. So let's do a quick chat, do some updates and a giveaway on this year-end episode of #Philately. Pretty gloomy out there at the moment, so please excuse the lighting. But what I want to start off is a big thank you to all of you for watching the videos this year. We managed to do 15 videos. This will be the 16th video of 2022, which is a lot for me because some of these videos take well over 100 hours to produce and edit. And I have a regular job and life. But we did so much along the way. We, of course, learned a lot of things, met a lot of people, and I think at the end of the day, we did like 5 stamp shows. This channel also got some recognition this year from the APS with a Kerr Award in Sacramento, as well as Lynn Stamp News, recognizing this channel as one of the top influencers within Philately. And I also did a presentation at Stampex in October. So that video, if you're interested and you haven't seen my presentation about the online philatelic community, is available on YouTube under the PTS's YouTube channel. And for those of you who follow me on social media will know that I post a lot more than just what I do on YouTube. So recently I was in Orlando with Laura visiting the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, doing some extreme philately, and also sending postcards via Post. Also this year I went to Indiana and visited Casey Joe, where we went searching for a covered bridge to do some extreme philately. This is with the Greetings from Indiana stamp. There was a lot of walking through cornfields, but eventually we found one and we got a great extreme philately shot. Also did some social media posts about Nojex, which is the North Jersey exhibition right near my home. And that's where I picked up this beautiful stamp, a stamp that I've been looking forward to getting for some time. It's an 1898 US $1 commemorative known as Western Cattle in a Storm. This is one of my bigger purchases for the year, and I got it because it's something that I would like to talk about at some point. Its imagery actually has a fascinating connection to another country, not the United States. It is considered by many stamp collectors as one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful, US stamps ever issued. Something that would be one of the contenders for a beauty pageant to go up against the Canadian Blue Nose, for example. Where's that? Yes, I know this is highly subjective and everyone has different opinions, but I'm curious. Do you think this is one of the most beautiful stamps ever issued by the United States? And is it worthy to be placed side by side with the Canadian Blue Nose? Man, it is dark in here. We're heading into a bit of a storm, but apologies about the lighting. There we go. Speaking about beautiful stamps and social media, the other thing that I did, I built a puzzle, a 120-piece metal puzzle, 1-to-1, of the Postal Union Congress stamp. This is a UK stamp. The stamp itself was issued in 1929. It's a £1 commemorative and is again considered to be one of the most beautiful stamps by the issuing country, the UK. So I have this stamp as well, but this puzzle was the big excitement this year. A company called Lazels Puzzles, they do a puzzle release every few weeks or months, and they released this stamp puzzle, a limited edition. It generated a lot of excitement and got people talking about stamps. Now, I got one of these and I built the puzzle. It took me a few days because it's very complicated working with tiny little pieces of metal. I actually had to use my magnifying glass for a lot of it. But it was such a great stamp to build in a puzzle form. The imagery is classic and intricate, and it is an iconic stamp. Now, yes, it is considered to be one of the UK's most beautiful stamps, alongside the King George V seahorses. But here on this table now, I've got 3 competitors for some of the most beautiful stamps ever issued. And since we're talking about social media, there's one little thing I just need to tell you about, and that is for anyone following me on Instagram. Recently, there have been a number of accounts created that have been using my content and impersonating me. They're using my profile picture, my videos, my photos, and they're building a profile that looks just like mine. There's actually like 10 now or more. The reason why I want to bring this up is that I just want to warn you in case these impersonators try to reach out to you and ask for any information. Please do not give them anything and block them if you can. I've actually tried to report them a few times, but apparently according to Instagram, they're not doing anything wrong. So I'll be watching them very carefully. I will never reach out to you for any money or personal information. So just keep that in mind. In fact, if you want to just make sure that you are following the right account, I've put that link in the video description. Okay, I think that's all the stuff I need to chat about. So anyway, we've had a really great year, 2022. Of course, there's a lot more content I have coming down the pipeline. There's a few things I've promised you that I haven't delivered yet. I've got a lot of mail that I really need to dig through at some point. Like it's a lot, this box is getting heavy. So I'll work on that. And for the 4th season of Exploring Stamps, I think I'm only like on episode 7. So I've got 13 more episodes to do there, along with a number of other content ideas that I'm excited to explore. So let's celebrate this year's worth of content because you've all contributed in so many different ways. And let's do a giveaway. I'll explain in a moment how to work. There's going to be 10 prizes to give away. They're all going to have this little small pocket-sized stock book from Lighthouse. Really cool if you're traveling with stamps, or if you're going to a stamp show, or if you are doing some extreme philately. It's a small, tiny little stock book that you can use to keep your stamps safe. Along with that, we have several stamps that have been donated for this giveaway. So this first one is from Suzanne from Art Stamp. Suzanne always uses the best stamps on her covers when she sends me items. We've got Machins, Ducks, King Henry VIII, some cricket, even Captain Hook. And it may not look cancelled, but look, it's cancelled at the bottom there. Just a little train stamp and a Machin, which really didn't do much. But let's see what she has for us. 10 packs of modern Japanese postage stamps. These are fun, bright, and colorful. Let's open them and take a look inside. These are lovely, Suzanne. Thank you. There's several characters, of course. We've got rabbits, bears, mice, dogs, dogs with mice, cats. There's Snoopy. I think that's Doraemon. And here's a pineapple. So Suzanne, of course, runs Art Stamp. It is an online store where you can purchase stamps for either art projects that you plan on doing or for your collection. There's a wide variety of stamps, from individual stamps to sets of stamps and packs of stamps. And she also has a very active social media where she's showing some of this stock and the exciting stuff that she's doing with the stamps. So I'll put those links in the video description along with a link to her store. Thank you, Suzanne. These are going right into the giveaway packages. All right, who's up next? Simon from africastamps.co.uk. This is great. First of all, he's using a Harry Potter set of stamps, so you know that Laura's going to use that in her collection. Thank you, Simon. But Simon has provided some very cool stamps here. He writes, Graham, 10 missing football varieties, 1996. Can you spot it? One for each of your stock book giveaways. Best wishes, Simon. So let's take a look at these. I have a bit of a personal connection with these stamps because these were the stamps that I was purchasing when I was a young stamp collector in South Africa. South Africa had just won the Africa Cup of Nations in 1996, the first time and only time that South Africa ever won it. They had a really good team back then with several players playing in European leagues. They also had a really cool uniform. So when Simon wrote that this is the missing football varieties, I think he really means the missing soccer ball varieties. But let's take a look if we can find them. Got it. I'll just leave that on the screen. You can figure out where it is. So one of these special varieties where there's a missing soccer ball goes into each of these stock books. Very cool. Thank you, Simon. Simon has some of the coolest stamps and covers from Southern Africa available for purchase. I'll put the link to Simon's website in the video description, of course to his social media as well, so definitely check it out. Next up is John from Philatelovely. John is no stranger to the channel and has an amazing social media presence. So I'll put all of John's links as well, but check out what he's provided. John's provided 3 stamps, and they're very special stamps. First off, we have a penny red. So if you don't have a penny red in your collection, maybe this will be the first or be added to your penny red collection. There's some beautiful postmarks here as well. That's really cool. Next up, what followed the penny red in the 1880s, these beautiful 1 penny stamps. Again, some really cool postmarks. I often like these stamps that get completely obliterated, including this one here that has a coded postal obliterated number 52, as well as a circular date stamp that just has a piece of the town. Looking it up online, number 52 was Basingstoke in south central England. So there we go. I always enjoy looking up where a cover or a stamp's postal journey began. So that's really cool. And the 3rd Victorian stamp that he's provided is actually from South Australia, issued in 1908. John, you spoilt us. I'll put all your links to your Etsy store, your Patreon. Wait, I think there's actually here we go, Philatelovely. He's actually provided me some details. So he's got a Patreon service, which there are 6 tiers of membership to choose from, providing you with monthly stamps, monthly covers, access to Philatelovely Discord server, exclusive competitions, exclusive Etsy discount codes, and much more. So I'll not only put the link to his Patreon, but his Etsy store, and of course all of his social media, which is very active and engaging and fun to follow. So thank you, John. Let's see who's next. Okay, so this next one is from Mr. Gary Lowe, an active member of the online philatelic community, and he's provided these souvenir stamps from the 1966 Philatelic exhibition. These are really cool. First of all, they're really large. They all have gum on the back, so they were intended to be used and stuck on a cover, taking up, of course, a big piece of real estate on that cover. But they were 5 cents, and they were issued for the 6th International Philatelic Exhibition, which took place in Washington, D.C., also known as Sipex for short. Now, this was a bit of a big deal, right? It was the 6th Philatelic exhibition, but the previous 5 had taken place in New York City. This was the first one to take place outside of New York City. Apparently, there was a bit of drama among the planning committee because they had a split opinion on how to run the stamp show, some arguing to make it more exclusive and some trying to open it up more for general collectors. So there was a disagreement, and eventually it was going to be cancelled in New York and not take place. But in the final 2 years leading up to the stamp show, there was an idea to put it in Washington, D.C., where the Smithsonian had just opened up a hall for history, postal history, and philatelic history. So the idea was to bring the stamp exhibition there, allowing people to go see the displays that the Smithsonian had put together. It was also an opportunity to do tours at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and ultimately became one of the most memorable and successful stamp shows. So these are really cool pieces of philatelic history relating to the hobby itself. Now, since Gary has given me the opportunity, I can quickly announce that I've also joined the planning committee for the Boston 2026 exhibition, which is the 12th US international exhibition taking place in Boston. I was asked to join the committee as an advisor for online philately, making sure that this online philatelic community has a voice at the table. This is going to be a major event, so if you haven't already done so, make sure to put on your calendar for 2026 Boston. It will be a fun trip and an experience that you will not want to miss. So thank you, Gary. Very generous of you. These are going right into the giveaway. Next up, I have another viewer of the channel, Kevin from Delaware, who has provided me with 10 dealer sales cards, each with a variety of stamps, some really special stamps here too. It's funny that we were just talking about stamp exhibitions, because here is a souvenir poster stamp for the International Philatelic Exhibition of 1936. This was the 3rd Philatelic exhibition, so this was 30 years prior to Sipex. This was Tipex. Tipex, the 3rd Philatelic exhibition. But these stamps are just gorgeous from an artwork standpoint. This is Mercury, the Roman god of trade and transportation and travel, and I did a whole episode on Mercury and Mercury stamps. But this one is not a postage stamp, it is a poster stamp with very intricate and beautiful artwork. It was printed by the American Banknote Company and is a stellar addition to any stamp collection. So we have that. along with several other stamps. This is a 3-cent Edgar Allan Poe. Here's the Legends of Sleepy Hollow, 10 cents. And here's a 1962 Christmas stamp, 4 cents. This is just a wonderful addition to the giveaway. Thank you very much, Kevin. We have 2 more. Let's take a look. This one is from the First Issues Collectors Club, a club dedicated to the first stamps or sets of stamps issued by any nation. And they are super active on social media. I'll put links to all their accounts in the video description. They're always dropping interesting facts about the first issues of stamp issuing nations. They provided a few stamps, but I want to highlight a couple of them. A green Aussie 1/2 penny roux. This is number 1 in I think most of the catalogs, but it wasn't the first issued, and I actually learned this from the First Issue Collectors Club. This stamp was issued in the first year in which Australia was issuing stamps as a federation, but it was issued after the red Aussie roux was already issued, but because of the lower denomination, it actually got the catalog value of 1. So this is really cool. If you don't yet have a classic Aussie roux, this is one to have. And then there's this stamp. This one is from Hatay. I don't actually know much about Hatay yet, other than that it is a province today in Turkey. And for just 1 year, they had stamps issued as they were independent. It was 1939. And by issuing stamps, I think really they were overprinting stamps. This is a Turkish stamp that has been overprinted. Hatay, before it was annexed into Turkey, and began using Turkish stamps. So it's only 1939 that these stamps were issued, making this a very small collection to get to achieve a complete collection. So thank you, First Issue Collectors Club, for providing us with some beautiful stamps for the giveaway. The person who actually sent this is Kurt Streepy. He is part of the First Issues Collectors Club, and he provided another thing which is part of his business called KS Philatelics. So let's take a look at what he provided, because I know him to be a collector of Hawaiian stamps and Canal Zone stamps. So let's take a look. Now this is super interesting. This is amazing. He's actually providing one of these 1894 Hawaiian 2-cent stamps. I spoke briefly about Hawaii in, I think it was a top 10 countdown episode, I can't remember, but it's a fascinating area to explore. These are the days before Hawaii was one of the states in the US. It was also a kingdom prior to this, so it's really interesting to explore stamps of Hawaii. And he also provided Canal Zone stamps, another fascinating area to explore. Kurt did 2 fantastic APS stamp chats that I will link in the video description if you want to learn more about these 2 areas of collecting, Hawaii postage stamps as well as Canal Zone stamps. Check out his business, ksphilatelics.com. He buys, sells, and trades US possessions, United States, and first issues of the world. Thank you, Kurt, on behalf of KS Philatelics. This is a fantastic little addition to the giveaway, and I think there'll be a lot of interested folks looking forward to getting some of these stamps. I think that is it. Brilliant. And how we plan on doing this giveaway? Well, I'm going to have you take a quiz. I've put together a 15 or 16 question quiz related to the videos that were posted this year. Now, the quiz is around things that happened in the episodes. It's not necessarily things that you can easily Google. You'll have to have watched the episodes or watch them now in order to find out what the answer is. Now, I'll put the link to this quiz in the video description for you to go ahead and start doing. It's real simple. Most of it's multiple choice. I think there's one open answer. And I'll ask you, of course, for your postal address so that I can send this to you should you be one of the winners. I'll give this until January 7th, so 1 week into January 2023. I will then take those top scoring quizzes, put them into a draw, and select at random 10 winners of this giveaway. Let me know in the comments if you did complete the quiz so I can look out for it. But I want to thank you all for a wonderful 2022, and I look forward to 2023, more content to come. I hope you enjoy it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and happy exploring.